Now turning to the torrential floods in northeast China. The Heilongjiang River, which runs along the Sino-Russian border, has swollen to dangerous river levels over the past week, with some sections of the river seeing the worst floods in a century. Water levels in the main tributaries of the river remain dangerously high. Data taken by a Russian water observation station indicate that a record high water mark has been reached along the Tongjiang Fuyuan section of the river. At Haiyu Island International Port, the ship's terminal building has been flooded and the port has been forced to close. As the Heilongjiang River records its biggest flood in over a century, another major river in the region, the Songhua-jiang River, has seen its flood peak reach Harbin, the provincial capital of Heilongjiang Province. So how dangerous does the populous city face, and is it prepared? Zhongshi takes a look.
As the flood peak passed through Harbin Tuesday morning, it recorded the highest water level on this section of the Songhua-jiang River in 15 years. At almost 120 meters, the water level is 1.39 meters above the warning line. Local flood fighting personnel stand ready to help.
Harbin is battling a high water situation. So far, we have discovered 273 risks and dealt with 268 of them.
According to the flood control authorities, the 500-kilometer-long riverbanks around Harbin are mostly made of mud and sand, making them more susceptible to flood breaches. With a flood peak estimated to last for 10 days on this section of the river, the city has put together an 18,000-strong flood-fighting force.
This flood peak will last longer than that of the 1998 floods. Riverbanks will be easier to break after being submerged in water. Harbin faces challenges both up and downstream on the river.
Meanwhile, another major river in the province, the Heilongjiang, is recording the biggest flood to hit parts of it in a century. The latest aerial views show that villages and farmland in this section near Tongjiang City are covered by up to 2 meters of water. Thousands of flood-fighting personnel are reinforcing water banks with sandbags. Heishat's Island, which straddles the China-Russia border, is now completely submerged. Its Usu Bridge, the only route between the island and the Chinese mainland, is badly damaged. Temporary residents on the island have been evacuated. Local authorities say the flood peak is now moving toward the confluence of the Heilongjiang, Songhua-jiang, and Nenjiang rivers, a trend that could wreak more havoc along its path. Zhongshi, CCTV.